Thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Bell, and this is To the Point, where we're taking time to go more in depth and diving deep into issues that are affecting the lives of Northern Californians. And in tonight's main point, the USDA sets guidelines on what food school districts across the U.S. can buy for its students. But many districts, including Sacramento City Unified, say the process is inefficient, and they argue that kids could be eating better food for the same price. With all of the meals it serves, the Sacramento City Unified School District thinks of itself as the largest restaurant in the county.
We serve 45,000 meals a day. Tell me which restaurant serves 45,000 meals a day.
For 3 years, Diana Flores and Kelsey Netterveld have been leading the charge to get fresh meals to Sacramento City Unified School District students.
We want to get back to scratch cooking. We want to get back to wholesome foods that have less preservatives and that are healthy. And we have Foster Farms right down the street in Livingston. They're 90 miles away. We want to be able to buy a raw protein from Foster Farms, a raw chicken thigh, a raw chicken breast, and cook it in our schools for our kids rather than sending it to a processor and adding in all these additional preservatives and binders and everything else.
The district even built this, the central kitchen, where they can prep, store, and distribute fresh food with their refrigerated trucks to the more than 6 dozen schools in the district. Surprisingly, getting that fresh food,
Carrots, peaches,
is difficult, complicated, and expensive, even here in the Farm to Fork capital. But through a program called USDA Foods in Schools, Sac City Unified gets about $2 million a year to buy wholesale food.
We want to invest $2 million into our local growers, our local economy, to feed kids wholesome meals. That's huge.
But they say the money from the USDA is kind of like monopoly money. In order to use it, districts have to order food from a set list of vendors that have been pre-approved by the USDA. If districts don't choose from that list, well, they don't get to use the USDA's money.
We're investing in the health and the future of our kids. We want to get a cleaner item, a fresher item, a strawberry that was grown 2 miles away onto our kids' plates.
She wants more fresh food options compared to the frozen and canned foods that currently dominate the USDA's pre-approved list. For example, to buy chicken,
everybody is aware of Tyson Foods. They make chicken nuggets and chicken tenders and chicken patties. We send that protein over to Tyson, and Tyson will then further process that protein item into all of these different chicken items for our meal program.
What's not on the USDA's list?
Raw ingredients. Well, that's not offered on the commodity program.
So what do you do?
So I either use those items or I don't use those items and I lose the $2 million.
And that's why Sac City Unified, along with about 40 other school districts nationwide, have signed a letter asking the USDA to give them the actual cash to spend freely on food from any vendor, something that's called cash in lieu of commodities.
Instead of giving us a shopping list of $2 million worth of predetermined items, send us the check for $2 million and we'll find our own ingredients.
How are you? A little icy.
Another downside of ordering from the USDA list, they say, is food availability. Since the pandemic, some deliveries have been incomplete, delayed, or the trucks just never come at all. The district says that processors can't always fulfill their orders, which leaves them scrambling for food. So we went to check out some of those incoming deliveries, and
this is one of our chicken deliveries that we received this morning, and it came in 300 cases short. We were expecting 875 cases, and we received 575 cases.
The problem is these processors also produce commercial items. Right now, commercial items are a much higher profit margin. And where are you going to spend your resources, on something with a low margin or something with a high margin? So right now, commercial items are readily available, but they're more expensive, and we don't have it in our budget to spend the money.
In that case, the district says that they must come up with the extra cash to buy all the food that they still need.
So a school district that doesn't have a cash reserve, the school district pays for it. So it comes out of the general fund, which is funding for educating students. And that's concerning. The money should be coming from USDA for these meals.
We asked the USDA for an on-camera interview several times, and every time they declined, opting instead to send us this statement, saying in part, there is no option to receive cash in lieu. And due to this explicit legislative language, Congress would need to provide new authority to give either additional states or schools the option of cash in lieu of USDA foods. I'm here with Diana Flores right now. She is the Director of Food and Nutrition Services over at Sacramento City Unified. And Diana, I want to take a minute to talk about how you guys actually get paid for school lunches, because there's kind of two different pots you get paid from, federal and state. Can you talk about that?
I can. So school nutrition programs do not receive any money from the school district. A lot of people are not aware of that. What we receive is a reimbursement for every meal served. We get a federal reimbursement from USDA, and then we get a smaller state reimbursement from the state of California.
So roughly how much do you guys get both from the federal and state?
So for every lunch served, we get approximately $5 in this next school year. That is the most that we've received for school lunches in the past. The majority of it is USDA, about 89 cents of it is from the state of California.
But out of that roughly $5 or so, you have to also pay for other things like labor, cutting your paychecks and stuff. That might not be something that people know either.
That's correct. So we pay for all of our fuel, all of our trucks to transport our food. We pay for all of the benefits for our staff, our labor, our food and supply costs. We pay for all our food service equipment. So a lot of people don't realize that the $5 really has to go towards all of that.
So when you cut out everything else you need to pay for, roughly how much are you guys left with per student to feed?
Right, so we get about $1.50 to $1.75 to purchase the food for each lunch.
It does not sound like a lot of money.
It's not a lot. We really have to budget.
And are you guys still dealing with supply chain issues as well?
We're dealing with a lot of supply chain issues. We place orders 3 to 4 months in advance, and we often find out when the truck arrives that the order was shorted. We might get half our order, or sometimes trucks just don't arrive. They confirm deliveries and then they don't show up. And when we call, they're always saying they just didn't have the food to pull for our order.
But there is some good news coming on the horizon. There are free meals coming to all students right here in California for the first time. Can you talk about how important that is?
Right. Free Meals for All in California is really an investment in our students and education. We know that a national eligibility scale for families across the nation isn't working. It costs more to live in the state of California than it does in Arkansas or Ohio, and yet the same income and household size thresholds are applied to all families. So even though families wouldn't qualify for free and reduced meals, they also couldn't afford school lunch or school breakfast. So now no student has to pay for breakfast or lunch.
And last question here, how important is it for students to get these free meals? I mean, you work with students, you see them coming into school. What's that like for the students who aren't getting meals?
We've seen in the past when students had to pay for meals that they just wouldn't come in because they knew either there wasn't money on their account, they didn't have money with them, or it would be a stress on their family budget. We've also seen students come in Monday morning shaking because they hadn't eaten all weekend, and they really rely on those breakfasts and lunches at school. So it's important. It's important in the classroom. It's fewer disciplinary problems, and they do better academically. So it's well known.
All right, Diana, thank you so much.
Thank you.